What is this series called? This is set in Ireland. So the books are Flawless, Powerless. The male main character's name is Rain. Maybe, I don't know if I'm butchering that. Hey guys, welcome to my channel. So today I thought that I would share some of my 5-star book recommendations with y'all. So some of these books are not necessarily 5 stars, but if they're in a 5-star series, then like, yes, I'm gonna recommend them. So these are in no particular order, and I'm sure I'm leaving some off. But if I think of them, I'll just randomly throw them in there. I tried to grab all my books from my shelves, and these shelves are stacked up, so some I think I gave up and I didn't grab. So let's just get into it. My first book rec is Out on a Limb by Bonam-Young. This book, it was so unexpected for me because I was like, okay, it's just gonna be another romance book. It was so good. The main character, her nickname is Win, and I loved her as a character. She's funny, she's witty, she was so strong in herself, and I just feel like her and the male main character, Bo, they had such a healthy relationship. Like, it was so fun to just see them grow into like the relationship together. So basically, Win and Bo, they both have impairments. So Win has like half of an arm, I think, and then Bo, the male main character, is missing I don't know if it's his full leg or half of his leg. I can't remember. But I really like how they go into like the confidence aspect of that. They do talk about that and how like they've struggled with that in the past, but they're confident in it now. And I really just like that. I thought it was interesting and I thought it was fun to read about. And it was just like, oh, my book just fell in the back. But I feel like it just added so much depth to the characters. And I think that's why this wasn't just another romance book, because these characters were well thought out and they just connected well to each other. Okay, my next recommendation, you've probably heard of this one, is Beartown. So I read this, oddly enough, I read it in this summer, and it's set in a winter setting. Like, it's snowing, it's in a really cold and desolate environment. And I read this peak summer. But it was still great. It was a 5-star. If you are gonna read it, I would definitely recommend that you read it in the winter, because I think that would just add so much to the story. Basically, this is about this small town hockey team, and it doesn't follow just one character. It follows like a ton of characters in this town, and basically they need to win this something with hockey. I don't know. They need to win so that their town can grow and get more funding and their program can grow. And I know that sounds like, why would I want to read that? But I promise you, the depth and the emotion in the storyline, the way Fredrik writes, you truly get attached to each character and you're invested in each character. Even though you're in so many point of views, he just seamlessly writes those point of views to where you don't feel like, oh, I'm bored of this person's point of view, can we go to the next one? Like, no, I was interested in every person's point of view. Every person has such a deep and meaningful storyline. He's not afraid to write complex characters. Next, I brought 2 of my favorites from the series. What is this series called? The Mile High series? Oh, the Windy City series. I'm sorry, I just blanked there. And here's what I did. I had gotten recommended to not read the first book, which is Mile High, to skip that one, and then read the rest. And then if you want to, go back and read Mile High. So I started with the second book, The Right Move, and I read all of them. And then I went back and read Mile High. And I will say, Mile High was not my favorite. Like, it was good. It was not my favorite. And I can see why people suggested that. And I think I would suggest the same thing, because I think if I had read Mile High first, it would have deterred me from the series. But because I read The Right Move first, I was like, oh my gosh, like, this is so good. So this book follows Ryan and Indy. Ryan is a professional basketball player, and Indy is the best friend of the love interest in the first book. The way that she writes her characters, Indy is so funny, so witty. I love the way she writes her characters. She gives them so much personality and depth. And one thing I loved about this book is, if you're someone who appreciates the love language of acts of service, this is the book for you. The male main character, he is an acts of service guy. Like, he makes her coffee just how she likes it every morning. and he's constantly doing things for her. He built a bookshelf for her, and he did like acts of service. This is for you. That was one of my favorite aspects of this book. It's just seeing how he cared for Indy, the female main character, through his acts of service. My second favorite from the series is Play Along. In this book, it starts out hilarious because Isaiah is the male main character and he plays professional baseball. And Kennedy, the female main character, she is the personal trainer for the team, or athletic trainer. How this starts off is the team is in Vegas and they accidentally get married. And so they're like stuck in this marriage, but it turns out to be so sweet. I love their story. This one is pretty acts of service too, but this whole series, the Windy City series, I definitely recommend. Okay, next book. If you haven't heard of this, I'm assuming you've been living under a rock, maybe? But seriously, the Shatter Me series. I read this, gosh, was it like 3 years ago now? I don't know. This is one of these series that go ahead and buy the box set because you're gonna want the next book after it finishes. It's a dystopian world, and I love the dystopian type fantasy books. Think like Hunger Games, Divergent, Maze Runner. If you're a dystopian girl or guy, this series is for you. If you've been seeing it and you're like, I don't know if I should start it, it's a lot of books, I don't know if I can commit. It's good. It is a YA series. This first book follows Juliet, and her touch is lethal. So if anyone touches her, they die. She's put in this prison because she's detrimental to other people. And one day she's abruptly taken out of prison after she's been in there for, I forget how long. But she's taken to like the district leader, with the government, kind of. I don't really know how to explain it. But there is a love triangle starting out, and I won't spoil anything. But Aaron Warner is the leader of the reestablishment. He's like over a branch of it. There's this other guy named Adam. But yeah, anyway, that was such a like brief summary, but I promise you, like it's really good. The found family in these books are so good because she's had a lethal touch her whole life. She doesn't have family or people she cares about, and it's all the dystopian vibes that we all know and love. Next is the Serpent and the Wings of Night series. This is a book about vampires, and the female main character in this book is a human, and she's living in a world of vampires. And so basically, once every so many years, there's these like trials / games, and if you win the games, you get granted any wish. She's the only human in these games with all of these vampires. So not only is she trying to win the game, she's trying to stay alive. The male main character's name is Rain, maybe? He is a vampire, and they end up striking up an alliance. They play the games together. I totally recommend this series. Next is Reckless, and it's from the Chestnut Spring series. This is my favorite book in the series just because I connect to the female main character so deeply. It's an interconnected series. You can read them as standalones, but it is interconnected. And it's in a small town, and it follows this family, and they all have their own books. This one follows Theo and Winter. And Winter, I just saw myself so much in her. She seems icy and unlovable, and deep down, she just wants to be loved. You just see her and the male main character Theo, like he just kind of thaws her out, and he understands her, and he sees through her icy layer. And it's funny because her name is Winter, and she has an icy personality. This whole series is so great. I don't know if you can see because this is so a mess. This is the whole series. So the books are Flawless, Heartless, Powerless, Reckless, Hopeless. Yeah, I think that's right. But totally recommend this series. Next, and I read this finally this year, Binding 13. If you take one thing from this video, it is to read these books. They are intimidating. They are huge. They are thick. They are long. But I flew through them, ate it up every second. These first two books hold a special place in my heart. This is set in Ireland. These first two books follow Johnny Kavanagh and Shannon Lynch. Shannon comes from an abusive household, and she's been bullied her whole life. She transfers to the Tommen College, and there she meets Johnny, and the emotional roller coaster you go on. Her and her relationship with Johnny, her relationship with new friends, her dynamics with her family, dynamics with Johnny's family. When I was reading this, I was like, these characters are real, and I have a real emotional attachment to them because that's just how I feel. I cannot recommend this series enough. It is so much more than just a romance. The way she deals with these real and honest situations and the way she handles them and writes them is just so raw, and it's really beautiful. Okay, next we're gonna go into a few books by Ali Hazelwood. I read this series this year. Bride and Mate. This is the newest one, and this is the first one. These books are so funny. It's like a Omegaverse type thing. It's like werewolves and vampires and humans. In this first book, she's a vampire. Her name is Misery, which I think is so funny. She marries this werewolf to basically make an alliance between the two groups of people, but also to uncover where her friend is, because her friend Serena is missing. At first I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna like the whole werewolf vampire thing, but this is just, it just makes it so fun. It's not too serious, it's not too intense. It's just kind of like, I don't want to compare it to Twilight because it's not, but it's kind of like, if you've never read something like this, if you think of the whole vampire werewolf thing, it's that dynamic. And this is the second book, and it follows her friend Serena. Serena is I guess I can't say what Serena is without spoiling it, can I? But this follows Serena and a werewolf Cohen. Serena is hilarious in this book. Like, I was laughing audibly. And I think Ali Hazelwood just does a great job writing funny characters, but then also like writing so serious and ripping your heart out on the next page. And she just does that so well. Also, how can I do a 5-star video and talk about Ali Hazelwood and not recommend you the OG STEM romance books? First, The Love Hypothesis, which I'm sure everyone has read. I reread this year because the movie is coming out. We all saw the promos on TikTok, and I was like, okay, I want to reread it. While it is cheesy and predictable, it is so fun. Love on the Brain, basically the same book in a different font, and I'm gonna eat it up every time. My favorite of this STEM series is Love Theoretically. It follows Elise, which is a theoretical physicist, and Jack. She's under the impression that he hates her work. He like looks down on the work that she does in the STEM realm. Just really good. If you've never read her STEM romances, recommend. They're so easy, fast-paced, fun. Like I said, she's such a witty and funny writer, but she also says these deep and emotional one-liners, and she tackles these themes in her book. She is just a great writer, and I will forever recommend her. Okay, so I know that we probably all have gone through our Hunger Games phase, and I will say I have. We all know, maybe, about the new release, Sunrise on the Reaping. Y'all, I love the Hunger Games, and I love the Hunger Games books and movies and all things Hunger Games. So I was really excited for this. I was kind of nervous. I'm like, what's it gonna be? Haymitch's Games? I already know what happened in Haymitch's Games. They described it in Catching Fire. Absolutely not. I was absolutely wrong. This book, I was up at 3 in the morning finishing this, could not see the pages because I was sobbing tears. You think you know what happens? You don't know what happens. I cannot wait for the movie adaptation because I know it's just gonna be so good. This book, like I said, follows Haymitch in Haymitch's Games. He is in a quarter quell, and so the stipulation for this quarter quell is double the tributes. It is gut-wrenching. Okay, finally, Alchemised. And let me just preface by saying this. I have not yet read Alchemised, but this year I wanted to read Manacled before I read Alchemised. And if you don't know, Manacled is a fan fiction, and it's based off of the Harry Potter world. It talks about the war and the post-war. And it's basically if Voldemort won the war and what happens when he does. I read Manacled because I wanted to read it before this book. But I'm not showing you Manacled because I don't have a binded copy. If anyone would like to bind me a copy, I would literally love it. I've been looking into how to bind, and I just haven't been brave enough to try it yet. But if any of you out there are skilled binders, please, like, I would just love being gifted a copy. Like I said, I have not read this book, and I'm holding it up because I don't have a physical copy of Manacled. If this book is anything like Manacled, it's going to be a 5-star. Like, I will just tell you. I read Manacled, and I was like, okay, what's the big deal? Everybody talks about Manacled. What is everyone raving about? It starts off and it's as if Voldemort had won the war, and it's kind of like a Handmaid's Tale post version of the war. There's a population crisis. To amend the population crisis, these women are sent to be surrogates, basically. It's like a playoff of Handmaid's Tale. That's the kind of premise in the beginning, but then it goes into the war and what happened during the war and how we got to where we are in the post-war, and it's just incredible. I am going to read this. I just have to have some time on my hands because it's a little bit thick. I'm going to get there, I promise. That is all the books that I would recommend that you read. All of my 5-star books, 5-star series. I'm sure I'm missing a few. I don't know why I didn't go through my Goodreads and write down a list. Y'all let me know y'all's 5-star recommendations. Let me know your thoughts on any of these books. Let me know things that I need to read now, because my Goodreads goal is 30. I'm at 27. I'm in a reading slump and I really want to meet this Goodreads goal. So last year I read 33 books. This year I'm at 27 and I set my Goodreads goal for 30, but I really want to read more than 33 because that was what I made last year. If y'all have book recs that will get me out of this slump, please let me know, because I am slumping hard. It's not good. Thank y'all so much for watching, and I hope that you're able to get some book recommendations from this video. Bye!